Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, what's going on, everybody? This is the Black Manga Critic here. Welcome to my reaction to My Hero Academia, chapter 246. All right, 246, I believe. It should be 246. Yes. All right. So we're going to get into it. Today's looking to be sort of like there going to be a few reactions today. My Hero. I really want to catch up on The Promised Neverland, even though I've heard like the pacing's being weird. I've been kind of avoiding it because I just don't want to be disappointed. But I gotta get back to it. I gotta get back to it. You know, I need that Emma greatness. All right. So I gotta get back to that. I might do that today. But I'm leaning towards a Vinland Saga reaction, and I want to see if I can react to the first chapter of Basara. I want to see like if I can react to that and get that in and start that. So I think that's sort of my goal. And I want to see if maybe I could react to Yona too, but I don't know. I think Yona might be like a middle of like the week sort of reaction. So like maybe on like Wednesday or something like that. So I'll see. But I definitely want to get to all those things this week, like before Sunday hits, before next Sunday. So I'm all caught up with like the manga that I'm reading, at least in terms of Weekly Shonen Jump chapters. anyways, let's get into My Hero, yo. Let's get into My Hero, okay? I gotta share this on Twitter. All right, I gotta share this on Twitter. All right, so folks know that I'm reacting, and then we can get started. All right, because YouTube is cool, but YouTube's notifications are not very good, and a lot of people tend to follow me on Twitter that I know that like watch these reactions. So I always got to share it on Twitter. All right, okay, let's do this. We're on 246. I also got to check out a few podcasts. I want to see the My Hero podcast again. The My Hero podcast is a podcast that is hosted by Sniper of My Heart, aka Kendra. All right, Give Us the Fish Uncle. All right, aka Jimbei. All right, and Chopper's Left Antler, aka Sophie. And please check out that podcast. It's usually pretty dope. They have different guests on it. I believe both of them we're going to be on the One Piece podcast. So I know that's happened. So please check that episode out. Shadi, what's good? What's up? My Hero time. You already know what it is. I've heard good things about this chapter. I haven't heard it. I don't know what it's about. I have no idea what it's about. I think like rarely do I get spoiled on My Hero chapters. I don't even read One Piece, and like I get spoiled on One Piece chapters. You know what I mean? Like it's like I see that all the time. I'm like, I know things that I should not know because I'm just on Twitter. And I'm like, okay, like I haven't read like I don't know how many, like it would have been like 30 chapters or something like that. But like I know like way too much of like than I'd like to about like things that are happening in One Piece. General sort of like things. And so it's like it's annoying, but it's like whatever. But I get spoiled on that way more than I get spoiled on like My Hero or Haikyuu or anything else, or The Promised Neverland or anything else. So the One Piece folks got to work on that. They got to work on that. But let's get into it. My Hero time, y'all. Okay. Let's see what we've got. 246. That My Hero greatness. We getting into it. All right. Wow. That is a color page if I've ever seen one. All right. That's a color page. All right. Just so you know. Man, that's a color page. Like the colors are so vibrant, yo. Wow. I'm like really like, I just love the color. Like the colors are so great. So good. Man, artists gon' artist. They just gonna do the thing. All right, let's keep it moving. Man, I'm staring at it because it's so good. It's so good. All right, let's move on. Chapter 246 is entitled Message. Your quirk really blossomed in that last battle. We get back to the Shigaraki. Like this. All right. Now, it's not only the object you touch, but the things that are connected to that object that get destroyed as well. You've come to embody absolute destruction. I mean, this is like, right? Like, I think like most people that are like reading My Hero like will get this stuff, and I'm like, right, and like the doctor, he didn't have to say that, right, for us to understand that like this is what Shigaraki embodies, like just destruction. There's no like, right, like even though he has all of these right, even though there are all these forces at play and people under his command, so to speak, and all those sorts of things, he's not really super like interested in that kind of stuff so much as he's like, I just want to destroy things, you know, and he like who like sort of like Shigaraki, like well, his goal is not a deep goal. It's not deep. He just wants to destroy things. It's not deep. It's not deep. But everything that sort of is created as the character, that's like stuff that's interesting to us as readers of My Hero and fans of My Hero, and that's stuff that we're invested in. And how those sort of building blocks like clash with the building blocks of other characters, right? In the development of other characters and the characterization of other characters. That's the stuff that we're invested in. We're not interested in Shigaraki just like him in a vacuum so much as we're interested in Shigaraki as a character that is that engages with other characters. All right. I have to ask, why do you seek even more power? He just does. This is, again, doctor, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. Okay? When someone offers me something, I take it. It's true. I have no more need for delicate moves, but I doubt this boost has made me unbeatable. Just ask CEO Baldi. He's alive and kicking. And look at this arm. I went all out one time, and this is what happened. How many of them are we going to have to face, huh? These are facts. These are facts. Yeah, his arm got messed up. The shift in the art, I love it. Like Shigaraki looks like he's glowing. You know, like that white space, that sort of, I guess you would call it negative space, but like the way that the color is being used, the lack of it, like well, the absence of it. Ooh, Horikoshi, let's go. I mean, it's I've seen it a few times, but like every time I see it, it's still so good. I love it. Okay, how many of them are we gonna have to face? I'm done taking the heroes lightly. You're damn right. I'll use everything I've got to obliterate the dregs All Might left behind. The next time we meet, I'll finish them off. Ooh, no games. All right, no games. So all this is to make your enemies miserable? Like master, like student, I suppose. These are facts. And he's just laughing. He's just like, yeah. This is something that All For One would do. My research here was originally intended for All For One. With each passing generation, quirks become more mixed, more complex, more ambiguous, more powerful, and more numerous. Though our memory expands faster and faster, our hardware doesn't evolve quickly enough to keep up. There will eventually come a point when people lose control. I shall call this concept the quirk singularity. Okay. Nobody except All For One ever took it seriously. All right, I'm gonna read through that again just so I kind of like absorb that. Let's see. With each passing generation, quirks become more mixed, more complex, more ambiguous, more powerful, and more numerous. All right. Through our memory, though our memory expands faster and faster, our hardware doesn't evolve quickly enough to keep up with those abilities, with the complexity of those abilities and the mixing of the abilities. There will eventually come a point when people lose control. Chaos. I call this concept the quirk singularity. Nobody except All For One ever took it seriously. Of course, that makes sense. Folks really like to cling to order. We do. All right. And that's fine, I think. Unless we can tweak the hardware to accommodate our expanding memory, the human race will become unsustainable. We started seeing early signs of this back in the fourth generation. And since he held multiple quirks, he saw this problem as a grave one. Blah, blah, blah. How long is this story gonna take? Yo, you're like some impatient kid at Christmas. I sure am, all filled with hopes and dreams. For the next 4 months, you'll endure hellish agony. But if you can overcome it, you'll find that you'll have everything in the palm of your hand, even one for all. Wow. The one power that didn't behave as he saw fit. Huh. One for all? Yes, out of everything that all for one sought to possess. Whoa. Okay. Okay. I like this image is dope. The like coming at like right the caterpillar to is a butterfly. That I love. I think it's just like it's always a great metaphor. I don't think that's ever like a bad metaphor. I guess I've never seen it. I've never seen that used in a garbage way. 4 months from now, rise to action. I wonder how many heroes they've got on call. Can a guy walk down a hall in peace? Got this guy following him. I wonder how many heroes they've got on call. And what are Shigaraki and his associates really hoping to achieve? You're thinking too hard, sir. You're thinking too hard. You just gotta stop them. That's it. Do the hero thing. Stop them. That's it. That's it. Really, really, truly. All right. I'm not saying it's gonna be like it's gonna be easy or anything like that, but it's like there's all this sort of like thought going into it, and he's like, I wonder what Shigaraki's thinking. Stop. You're doing too much. My smallest feathers can only eavesdrop at short ranges, so I'm not quite picking up on the key points, and it'll be too late once I do find out. Before then, okay, so 4 months from now, rise to action. Before then, we'll send signal. Okay. All right, so Endeavor's still reading. If we were to raid this place now, no, what would be the fastest way? Okay. No entry, no cafeteria access for me. We'd have to expose every last Liberation Army member and their secret stronghold and every hero working with them. We need to catch them all in one fell swoop. Otherwise, the ones we let slip through our fingers would go on to do some real damage. If we fail, and this is like Endeavor still reading Hawks' message. If we fail, all right, you've been handing the books out to heroes, and Jester's just smiling at him like, right? He's like shifting attitude. It's just like hilarious. I love it. Hawks is looking at him like, Not only have you clearly read it, but you've grasped the true essence of what Destro stood for. So good to have another true believer with us. Honestly, I still don't get it. Want to fill me in sometime? Sure. It's not too tricky. With you spreading the word, our liberation ideology will permeate society faster than ever. Your fan base is the 10 to 20 demographic, and winning them over would be huge. Okay. So it says, if we fail, bolster our numbers. Okay. I'm just supposed to have them work under me? Yeah. Yes, we want the students getting real experience facing villains. I think it'll do you some good as well. Train these kids as best you can, Endeavor. Yes. Do your job. All right? You're the #1 hero. Come on. The Commission and Hawks already have some clues about this enemy, and they're prepping in secret. So these trainees are how we'll bolster our numbers? I'm not so sure about all this myself. Are these students our backup in case it all goes south? Our insurance? The boss only requested Shoto, so the two of you will probably be working with us. As if. They told me I'd get to watch #1 in action. We will. Calm down, Kachan. But that's not what we expected. I'll talk to him. Trainees as insurance? I don't accept it. Shoto, Deku, Bakugo. But for now, that's so interesting that he called him Deku and not Midori or Izuku. That's interesting. Very interesting. But for now, you three with me. It looks like they haven't grown much. Dabi, nice job underestimating the kids. I made the right move, stealing their glory back there. Even without me, they would have been fast enough. Yeah. I'm not into raising the next generation. Let's go. Let's go. They still growing, but they growing. I'm not into raising the next generation, but seeing you ready to rise to the challenge kind of changed my mind. I'm glad it's you who showed up. They're already strong. Yeah. And they'll get stronger day by day. They're even faster than me. Yeah. Let's go. This definitely won't go how the villains are hoping. The hype is real, yo. The hype is real. The hype is real. The next generation of heroes. Now, Horikoshi, can you give him some time? Can we showcase them a bit more? Please and thank you. Wow. All Might, that panel? Ooh, he dying. He dying, y'all. This is dope. I like this a lot. Let's hope that the next time the cherry blossoms fall, we will all be smiling. Very cool. The panel work is phenomenal for this chapter, I think. Very, very, very nicely done. Yo, all these little things that are just being insinuated in these little panels. Eddie's horn sort of becoming coming into forming again. Her power coming back. Mirio looking hopeful. All Might just like knowing that things are coming to an end. He is dying. There is no doubt about it. We see Rei in one of the panels. Todoroki's mom. So many little things. Really cool. Right? Shiketsu over here in the background. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so that chapter was cool. 246 end. I liked it. I liked it. That was a cool chapter. I liked it a lot. You know, it's just like, man, this is very interesting. What I like about it the most is how, again, like this is like a chapter that you reread. I think like it's a rereading sort of chapter. I mean, I think you reread, right? You do that like a bunch of times, right? Like you want to reread chapters like in that way, right? Like Eddie with her horn. It's very interesting. Very interesting. All right. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. And I think there were a few things that were mentioned here that I thought were like very interesting. The quirk singularity to me is like the most interesting sort of thing. But and Shadi, like I agree that like to me Mirio is going to be coming back very soon. He has to for a threat of this scale. He has. There's no way that like Horikoshi is going to keep him like quirkless. That's not going to happen. All right, right, like this, it's not going to happen. It's not to say that he wouldn't be useful or he wouldn't do anything, but it's like, come on, your boy Mirio needs his ability. Like it's a big part of like who he is, his identity, like his experiences. Like, come on. So I have to believe that. And again, like one reason why I say the panel work is very good here is because there are like there's like all the heroes and like all and the training and them working with their and them like doing their sort of like what's it called sort of like the UA and like all these other people like all these other hero like kid heroes like working with the actual heroes and getting that training in and everything like that. And like what I love is like the first sort of page is sort of like showing all of that, and it's all very interesting. There's so much happening in these little panels. There's so much just like sort of like personality in these panels. And the first sort of page is like, okay, we see a few things, we see we see that, and then when we get to the next page, there's so much. There's like the panel just gets sort of like more and more poignant, right? So like it's not a coincidence that Eddie's that Eddie showing Eddie with her horn sort of like being sort of becoming active, and that panel being put next to being adjacent to Mirio's panel, right? And Mirio sort of being hopeful. That's not a coincidence. You know what I mean? It's not a coincidence. Okay, this is the type of thing that like if you're just talking about like panel work and like comics and stuff like that, that's all important. Like that, like it's not like he just did that because he wanted to do it. No. All right, Mirio Kata. Coming back, y'all. We know he's coming back. We already knew this, but we already knew this, okay? So, really looking forward to it. And I think that like if we sort of want to get back to the stuff with like Endeavor, and Endeavor sort of like, I don't believe that. And I love how like Shoto, right? Not only Shoto, right, and sort of Endeavor and Shoto, like sort of their relationship sort of growing and becoming more healthy. I have to believe that that's going to happen, and that Horikoshi is going to showcase that within what's coming next. But like I love that like Bakugo is going to pick up a lot from this, and like sort of seeing like what would happen if he does a little, if like sort of seeing like what he could be, right? What like so Bakugo seeing like what he could be if he like sort of approaches this training the right way, and if he notices things and sees all of that. And Deku also learning from like a mentor that is very much so not All Might in the sort of like doting, really sort of like being there, paying very close attention, being able to relate because they had the same quirk, right? That sort of thing. It's very different. It's a very different kind of mentor for Deku. So I'm really interested to see how Deku responds to that and what he takes from that. So that's going to be great. And I want to see more. I want to see all of the 1A students, not just 5 of them. I want to see all of them get that progression. I want to see Horikoshi take his time with that. I want to see that happen. I need to see that. I need to see it. Horikoshi. Okay, I need to see it. All right. So I'm very invested in that. I think we're gonna get some really, really good stuff coming up. In terms of that, because now it's not just 1A versus 1B, which was cool. I like that stuff, but I kind of got what people were saying, where we were just like, hey, they're gonna get a lot. Like we need to see them in action on the streets, right? Where the villainy is taking place, right? We need to see them deal with that and grow as a result, right? We've seen in the past, like the 1A students sort of have to deal with that in some ways. But I think, right, obviously Deku, Shoto, Bakugo, Ida, these folks, like they've had a particular kind of experience with villains and having to deal with that very consistently, right? Deku obviously the most, because like he's the protagonist, so we know that's gonna sort of happen. But I want to see all these other characters get that shine. I want to see them go through those sort of experiences similar to what sort of Deku had with like a Gentle, right? Those types of villains where like they're gonna have to like come through, do some of that work, deal with their own sort of ideas of what villains look like, and come to grips with the fact that like it's not gonna be as simple as just like punching a villain and like beating them and then that's it, right? Sometimes, and we've seen it with My Villain Academia. We've seen that with with sort of like the school, sort of like the party and the festival and what was going on there with the music and everything like that. Deku dealing with that, dealing with like the idea of a villain and what constitutes a villain, and what do you deal with when you're dealing with villains that are like a gentle as opposed to an all for one. So very, very good stuff. I'm looking forward to that. I think that I'm looking forward to that progress. I'm really, really invested in just like Hawks just like moving through and sort of just like traversing the Meta Liberation Army and the sort of League of Villains and like that combination. I can't remember the name. I can't be sort of bothered to remember that. But I'm gonna look at it again and remember that. But like looking through that, very, very, very interesting, and it's so tense. I think Horikoshi is doing a phenomenal job, just sort of showcasing, just like when you're a double agent, life is rough. Like you're always just like thinking. There's so much thinking involved in that because you never want to sort of like show your hand. If you show your hand, you might die, right? Like Hawks is dealing with the very real fact that like if he like tips his hand in any sort of way, folks are gonna be on him, right? Like he can't just be heroes. Like he can't just be, they're not gonna come that fast, right? Like he'll be dead before they arrive. So, yo, and I think the league does know. I have to believe that because like the way in which it's sort of presented, right, and the way that Destro looked at him, he was like, and then Hawks is like, you know, like he that to me is like a hint, like, and then Horikoshi is sort of telling you like, do they know? Don't they know? Will they do something? Won't they do something? Like, I think they know, and I think we've known from earlier sort of depictions of Hawks talking with folks, of Hawks not being allowed sort of access to certain places because they're like, yo, like he's a number 2 hero. All right. You cannot just be like, oh, the number 2 hero is definitely like this horrible human being, right? Like, Hawks is not Adrian Ozymandias from Watchmen, right? That's not him, right? That dude was like a sociopath of like the highest sort of like caliber. All right, and there was so much going on there, but Hawks is not that character. Hawks is like a bit more subdued and a bit more sort of straightforward in certain ways, right? Like he clearly doesn't want the hero, the villains to succeed. All right, but like I think they know. To me, I feel like they know. I feel like some of them know, and they have to know about that ability. I think they probably do know because the Meta Liberation Army has they have so many resources, right, to learn about heroes, to learn about their quirks, to learn about those things. So it doesn't make much, right? So and like in the My Villain sort of Academia arc, we saw that, right? Redestro like had folks who were looking into the heroes and looking into the villains and looking into their abilities and planning and having contingency plans for that. So it makes sense to me that like they would know about Hawks' ability to like eavesdrop or to like pick up on sounds and that sort of thing in conversations. So they're just like, all right, out here, this is what we're going to do. But like over here, wherever it is that they are, like they're gonna be like, yo, like we're gonna feed Hawks this information, right? It's like misinformation, right? Like it's like disinformation, I think is what it is. Let me look at it. I believe it's disinformation. Sorry, I'm just looking it up right now, but I'm pretty sure it's disinformation, right? It's like false information which is intended to mislead, especially propaganda issued by a government organization to a rival power or the media. But like in this case, it's sort of like, right, like Redestro and other folks are like sort of like feeding Hawks like this particular information, knowing full well that he's listening, and they're like acting, right? They're like, hey, like, you know, this is what we're going to do, But really, this is just like, you know, it's sort of like meant to put Hawks in sort of like a false sense of security, right? And to lull him into a false sense of security, and then we're gonna see what happens later, and it's not gonna end well. To me, like either Hawks dies or he is severely like messed up, and something. Good things are not in Hawks' future. That's what I will say. Like when you are put into this sort of position as sort of like an agent, as sort of like a double agent in this sense, like it's rough. It's rough. Rough times. It's gonna be rough times for you, Hawks. I'm just saying. All right. I think we all sort of see that coming for Hawks. Like Hawks is not. Is that it ain't gonna end well for him. All right. And I think that's gonna be extremely powerful for sort of like readers to sort of see what happens to Hawks. And I think Best Jeanist is sort of like a bit of sort of foreshadowing in that sense. Just because it's like, whoa, something happened to Best Jeanist, like something he's missing. Whoa, 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 right? And it's sort of like a way for Horikoshi to sort of tell us like, yo, don't sleep. Don't sleep on a battle shonen manga in Weekly Shonen Jump. Things are gonna get very real. Okay? So I think we're gonna see that with Hawks. The quirk singularity. I feel like this is something that we've sort of either seen before or we've talked about before. I don't want yo shot. I don't like I'm not with that. I don't want him to turn into a Nomu, but hey, Horikoshi. I mean, did you see what Horikoshi did to Shigaraki's dog? I'm like, he went to a place there. And I one thing I hate seeing animals hurting. I don't like it. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, Horikoshi's going someplace. He going someplace. All right. Whew. Okay. So it wouldn't be out of like the realm of sort of Horikoshi's writing to sort of like implement like a plot point like that. But yeah, the quirk singularity. That stuff is very interesting. I like where this is sort of going. You know what I mean? Very, very, very interesting. And it's something that we sort of like continuously sort of like we have to discuss. We got to talk about that. We got to sort of like look into it and have thoughts on it. I'm very much so looking forward to watching the My Hero podcast and what they think about this stuff. Checking out Aniki's My Hero video, seeing his deconstruction and seeing like sort of how he feels about this stuff. I really need to have like a My Hero sort of like discussion. I want to set that up. I just got to figure out how to like do Hangouts and OBS at the same time. But I think that's something that I'm going to work on. I'm going to work on that today. I might just work on it today because I really want to have those discussions. But the quirk singularity stuff has been shown before. We've seen that before. But I think what's sort of very interesting about that is just sort of like now to sort of reintroduce that with sort of all the things that are happening, with all of the sort of advancements that the Doctor has sort of made, with Nomus, with Deku sort of like showcasing multiple quirks, with sort of like saying like, okay, if Deku is sort of a character, and All For One are sort of like characters that can sort of hold on to multiple quirks and sort of like have a sort of balance in that sort of way. What is sort of the and I know that like some people would say like the Nomu kind of sort of like represent that look sort of like that sort of going wrong, but right, but like where like sort of showcasing like that sort of going wrong on a sort of like more a bigger sort of scale with like multiple people, with like individuals sort of like, you know, having sort of like another quirk or their quirk sort of spinning out of control and that sort of thing. Right, and that happening like at a time when the villains are sort of attacking. That'd be like the chaos. Oh, the chaos. But let's see. The quirk singularity has been shown before. That's Kristoff says that's the reason why Deku has the quirks. He has, right, and why Eddie's power is so strong. Exactly. She's part of the fourth generation. All right, and that's why they show all these folks. All right. And I'm really looking forward to seeing again like what's gonna go on with Shigaraki, his sort of transformation. This is like for Shigaraki, this is like an initial transformation, right? Like this is like just one. And what I really sort of appreciate is like again, Horikoshi is so great with like with power progression, with avoiding like a sort of power creep sort of stuff that happens where like right where the power scaling just kind of gets like out of control and things are just kind of like absurd. And again, Horikoshi is very good at like sort of like, you know, sort of progressing in a very I don't want to say realistic, that's not the word I'm looking for, but just like a very like acceptable sort of like way. I like it a lot, right? And I always sort of come back to the chapter where All Might and Deku was sort of like during the festival where Deku was sort of like going into some training and he was trying to figure out how to sort of improve like his capabilities with One for All, and sort of like Horikoshi just like mapping out how Deku has progressed with One for All, and how All Might has sort of like been instrumental in that development, and how like sort of well sort of scaffolded it's been, just and how well like that sort of progression has been, just great. So, and that's like a sort of trademark of like My Hero generally. All right, so I'm really looking forward to seeing like all of this stuff play itself out. I'm looking forward to seeing Shigaraki's growth more and sort of more. But again, what I really like is like Shigaraki is like, yo, I just want to destroy things. Like this is like I like destruction. But he's also very aware of that. Like you can't just be like, I just want to destroy things. It's like, okay, I try to do that at a particular point, and I tried to go all out at a particular point, but I couldn't get the job done. Like I couldn't get the job done. I couldn't kill Redestro. I couldn't destroy him. Why was that? What happened? And so he's like processing that and sort of figuring out, okay, like I do need to have some sort of skill set. I do need to think about things. I can't have another arm get like totally like messed up and destroyed and that sort of thing. So very, very invested in seeing the growth and seeing how sort of Shigaraki sort of thinks in battle, and how his sort of battle tactics will grow. But ultimately, right? Again, ultimately it for Shigaraki, all things lead to destruction. All right, for him and his sort of plan. So very invested in seeing how the sort of how everyone sort of under him will deal with that. Because I don't know how sort of well Shigaraki's sort of like desire for destruction sort of meshes with all the other individuals' sort of desire for sort of freedom to use their quirks and that sort of thing. It's very interesting, and I understand like how it's related in terms of like sort of like Shigaraki is a representative of the sort of purest form of Destro's sort of like dogma in terms of like freedom to use your quirk how you sort of see fit and not having limitations on that. But it's also like, dude, he wants to destroy everything, so so it's very interesting. I want to see how Horikoshi continues to sort of like deal with that sort of not necessarily clash, but like where things kind of get out of hand, right? Where dogma becomes this sort of like very like destructive, sort of like extremist version of itself, right? So I'm very interested in seeing that. Okay. Let's see. All right. So yeah, right. So yeah, okay. So that's interesting. So if sort of Shigaraki's like sort of goal is recreation, I'm very interested in seeing that. And if that's really sort of true, and if Shigaraki does want to does really like truly want to recreate things, I'm really interested in sort of seeing that. And if Shigaraki just sort of drops that, and what will be sort of like the end result of that. That would be extremely interesting to me. But if he's into sort of like the sort of like extremely sort of like pure kind of like anarchist sort of thought, then okay, I'm really interested in sort of seeing like where that goes. And yeah. All right. Man. But again, some just dope panel work. Great. Again, like I just love like seeing just like this just like new sort of Shigaraki. He's quite literally glowing, right? Or at least like that's sort of like the sort of like optical sort of illusion that occurs like when Horikoshi like has a sort of absence of color with his hair. That's even more pronounced in those panels. So just and then the panel work at the end again, like stuff like that where we see the sort of progression of the panels. All Might is just like, right, he wants to be sort of upbeat. He wants to be happy for Deku and Choto and Bakugo and Yue, and seeing the heroes the young heroes' growth. But at the same time, he's like, I'm dying, all right. And just seeing all the sort of other panels, right, with I can't remember the dude's name. The one who can warp, and like he's like in prison, and sort of seeing that, and seeing Gran Torino, and just all these other folks, just like seeing all these other folks, like just sort of be like sort of pensive, like so like there's like optimism, but then there's a pensive. Like all the adults are sort of like very like, but all of the for the most part, like all the like sort of central figures, right? Gran Torino, Ray, All Might, Nedzu, right? Like all these folks, just like things are very real, all right. But then you see like all the like young heroes sort of like being hopeful, looking up, right? It's a very good sort of juxtaposition. I really like that. All right, so great chapter, great chapter. Again, really looking forward to seeing what Aniki thought about the chapters and the My Hero podcast. All right, featuring Sniper of My Heart. All right, give us a fish uncle and Choppers of Antler. All right, follow them on Twitter if you have not already. Follow the My Hero podcast on Twitter at MHA Pod. And follow Aniki on YouTube, y'all. Aniki Smash FSP. Follow your boy. All right. Great content. Great content. Always looking forward to watching those videos. Always looking forward to watching those podcasts. So just check out some more like content. All right. Thank y'all for coming through. All right. To my live reaction / initial thoughts for My Hero Academia, chapter 246. I really wanted to just like do more work in terms of sort of like discussing things this time around. I want to kind of do more of that whenever I react to these chapters, because there's always so much to sort of talk about. And I'm just sort of like in the process of rereading things, of rereading My Hero, rereading Promised Neverland, rereading, manga that I'm invested in, sort of having conversations about. So, just so things are sort of like fresh. And yeah, all right. Look out for another reaction this weekend because I'm pretty much caught up on My Hero, and also Haikyuu. Well, not this weekend. Is there going to be? I think there's going to be a break this week, and then we're not going to get. But Haikyuu, we're not going to get until the 27th. All right, rough. All right, but Furudate deserves that. That break definitely. All right, putting in the work. And I believe there's going to be a break. I think the next chapter is not going to be until the 20th. Oh, unless maybe it is this weekend. Yeah, we're going to get it this weekend. Okay. All right. So look out for that. But great chapter. All right. Thank y'all for coming through. Shouts out to Christoph. Shouts out to Shadi. All right, for coming through and having like just a great like sort of like discussion and giving me like good things to think about. All right. But yeah, shouts out to also like hashtag Save Hawks, hashtag Free Mirio, all right, because we need those things. All right. So shouts out to all y'all that have been watching. I'm the Black Manga Critic, and I am out.